So Nvidia pulled back yesterday. It looked as though it was setting up for a shot to the moon, but that still is on the table. But what we are seeing is today we'll see the Federal Reserve release its minutes. That'll be a little indication, but what the option market is telling us is a range between 63.50 and 64.50 is where that range is, and that range is designed by where options accumulate from a support to a resistance level. And we saw yesterday S&P 500 came down to 6,400 and supported there. And there's a lot of option hedging or support at 6,400. So that has broadened out a little bit with a downside of 63.50. So what does that tell you? It tells us really that one, the option market is a big determiner of what is happening in the world and where markets will go. And two, it's telling us this tight range is telling us that markets are waiting for Powell's speech on where we're headed, where they're headed with interest rates. Now, if you're on Polymarket says there's 71% chance as of yesterday that we will see a 25 basis point move. But last week it was 76. So that is slowly declining. And I believe a big indicator could be where the Fed says, or Powell talks at his speech on Friday from Jackson Hole, will determine where the probability of where interest rates are going. In my opinion, and it's only my opinion, they're not going anywhere. He's just going to keep them where they're at. He's putting a lot of pressure on the market. And I think the other side of this is consensus. Consensus says August, September, typically bad months. Go into the rest of the year, gangbusters, market goes higher. Well, if you're a contrarian, you believe we could have a pop August, September, and then as we go into the second or fourth quarter of this year, we could see a disaster. If you look at the lows from April to where we are now, we're up over 20 some odd percent on the S&P 500. If you had just bought in April, sold here recently, you could call it a year and had a very good year just using the S&P, or really any of the Mag 7 or the 12, the Telshe 12 or the 12, which is what I run. But I think there's more questionable movement in markets going forward. You have to be aware of consensus, because oftentimes consensus is wrong, and you need to risk manage. I like the 7 to 10% trailing stop idea. Sorry, I got to run across the street. And that, to me, is a protector. Use your model to protect yourself and make money. All right, I'm running out of steam and breath. Have a great day. Check us out at bestofusinvestors.com. We have one platform anymore. We've consolidated. 14-day trial. You get a whole lot for what you're buying, and you get a whole lot of interaction. Have a great day, and always live loud. See ya.